All right, if you're in the C-suite, this briefing is for you. We're going to take a hard look at what's happening on Wall Street, not because we're talking finance, but because it is the single best preview of what's about to hit your industry, whatever it is.
And this is why we're paying attention. Wall Street is where capital and technology collide with brutal efficiency. They test things first. They automate first. The playbook they're writing right now, well, that's the one that every other industry is going to copy. What they're figuring out today is what you'll be dealing with tomorrow. So let's get one thing crystal clear. The billions of dollars pouring into AI right now, it's not to build slightly better chatbots. Not at all. It's to build autonomous agents that fundamentally change how work actually gets done. We're talking about systems that don't just suggest an action, they take it, they execute it, all on their own. And this brings us to the most important shift in thinking you need to make. We're moving from a world of AI assistants to a world of AI executors. Understanding that difference, well, that's the key to everything that follows. This right here breaks it all down. An assistant, it gives you info, but you still have to decide, and you have to act. An agent, though, that's a whole different ballgame. It makes the decision and it executes the action. Your role as a human just fundamentally changes. You're not the one doing anymore. You're the one supervising. Now, to be fair, we're not talking about total unsupervised autonomy. Not yet, anyway. But what we're seeing is that the scope of these agents is expanding incredibly fast. That human in the loop is getting much, much wider. You're moving from a manager of individual steps to an overseer of an entire automated pipeline. So how does this actually change the way a company works? From everything we're seeing on the street, it boils down to 3 huge structural transformations that are going to ripple through every single industry. Okay, so let's jump into the first major shift. And it is all about speed. But we're not just talking about being a little bit faster. We're talking about a radical, almost unbelievable acceleration in how your organization operates and makes decisions. Just look at this. The old way is, well, it's a slow, painful crawl. Every single arrow there is a meeting, a handoff, a potential delay. It's bogged down by human friction. Now look at the agent pipeline. It's a straight line. Research flows into a decision, which flows directly into execution. A process that used to take days of meetings is now compressed into hours or maybe even minutes. Now, that incredible new speed leads us straight to the second big transformation. And this one might surprise you. It's not about moving faster. It's about being more transparent. Yeah, in a world where regulations are only getting tighter, this is an absolute game changer. Suddenly, compliance and traceability, they're not a chore you do after the fact. They are literally built into the fabric of how you operate. Think about it. An AI agent is the best note-taker in history. Every single action it takes is logged, time-stamped, and perfectly traceable forever. What used to be a massive cost center, your compliance department, suddenly becomes an automatic, built-in feature of your operating system. So we've got blinding speed, and we've got built-in compliance. Which brings us to the third transformation. And for you as a leader, this one is probably the most critical to get your head around. Because with all this automated power and speed, a totally new systemic kind of risk pops up, and you're going to need a whole new discipline to manage it. We're calling it swarm risk. Here's what that means. Imagine some negative news about a company hits the market. What happens when hundreds of AI agents at hundreds of different firms all read that same data and decide to issue a sell order at the exact same microsecond? You get a flash crash. That's swarm risk. And learning how to manage that kind of correlated behavior, that's a whole new leadership challenge. Okay, so that's the landscape. Now, let's make this practical. What should you actually do? Here are 3 concrete actions every single executive should be taking right now. And let's start with a really honest look in the mirror. Just think about your own company right now. How many of your most critical decisions are just completely trapped in an endless chain of meetings and handoffs? So lesson 1 is to become a bottleneck hunter. Your job is to find those friction points, map out those ridiculous decision chains, and then build agent workflows that just completely compress them. You want to shift your best people from being cogs in that slow machine to being the strategic overseers of a fast, automated pipeline. All right, next question. And this is a big one. It's a strategic choice. Are you going to get ahead of this, or are you going to wait for the regulators to force your hand? The playbook here is really simple. Make traceability a day-one, non-negotiable requirement for any AI tool you bring into the building. Build those audit trails from the ground up.
If you do this now, you turn what's going to be a huge compliance nightmare for your competitors into a genuine competitive advantage for you.
And this brings us to the piece of the puzzle that almost everyone is overlooking right now, your people. This is not a technology problem. This is a human capital problem. It's a leadership problem. This right here is the skill gap that will absolutely sink an AI strategy. Your managers have to learn a completely new skill, leading a hybrid team of people and agents. They have to develop the judgment to know when to trust an agent's output versus when to dig in and verify it. They need to know how to set and tweak the autonomy levels. This is the new, non-negotiable skill for leaders.
So let's bring this all home. The age of agents isn't on the horizon. It's already here. And it creates a brand new, crystal clear mandate for every single person in a leadership role. This is the bottom line. This is the whole thing. Your success, your company's success, is going to be defined by your ability to manage a blended workforce of human talent and autonomous AI agents. That's it. That's the core skill for the next 10 years. So I'll just leave you with this final question to think about. You have managers and performance reviews for your top human performers, right? Of course you do. But as these AI agents become your highest output workers, who's managing them? Who is tuning their performance? Who on your leadership team is even thinking about that right now?